Hello my crafty friends, it's Krista here from Second Chance Creation, and I have finished another journal. Oh, and did I enjoy making this one, mainly because it has a lot of colour. As you all know, I love a lot of colour, and also it includes horses. And so this is my Gypsy Rose journal. I will be posting it on my Second Chance Facebook page for sale. I was a bit hesitant because I had so much fun making it, but you know, it's nice to be able to share your creativity with someone else that falls in love with it. So let's not waste time, because I only have half an hour on this phone. So, and I really don't want to do part two. I know everyone's going to be busy today. Wishing everyone a very safe Easter. And if you're isolated with family, you're probably going to have a ball. No need to get stressed out. Just make it fun. If you've got kids at home or parents at home, whatever your situation is, we've just got to make the most of it during this challenging time. My international friends, I wish you all really safe weekend. So let's get into it. I'm excited. Are you excited? I am. I've used a lot of my fabrics that I've been storing in preparation to make a really big, you know, like a gypsy journal. A lot of it is all recycled. There's absolutely nothing new in it except for maybe the bulb pins, maybe some little diamantes, the glue, which I'm running out of, which is pretty scary. So, and I've used the majority of my painty papers that I had left, so I'll have to make some more now. Yes, so let's go into it, because I can rattle on with how it all is. So as you can see, I've done a fair bit of collage, and the front of this I've actually had done before. I've made a cover, a patchwork cover, and I covered the whole journal with that, and then put this topper on, and I didn't like it. It just was too busy. So I've come across a really, really nice, deep burgundy velvet fabric, and of course a red scarf, and that just then took me into a totally different direction. The cover is made from chipboard. I've actually cut down a gardening book. Had to cut off like two inches. It had the wide spine, which was great, but of course, as we all know, we do get carried away, you know, overloading it with all the goodies. So what you see here is just reams of fabric, some sequins flowers, some lace fabric that I've had for about 2 or 3 years. And I've made this paper doll that I cut out, and I've just embellished her with some trim, just to give it a different effect. I had a little organza bag that had the stars and the moons on it. I thought that would look really cool as a background. And then I had a picture of a side of a wagon, and I can't remember the image that was beside it, but I just wanted the side of the gypsy wagon. So it looks as though, you know, she's doing her dance at night time. Just use some trims with some glass beads. The red scarf come in really handy as well, because I use that as a closure and also to wrap right around, so it's really glued and fastened. Then the other part of the scarf, because it was quite long, I took the trim off and sewed it together so they had the frill on both sides. I've used some really dark black and red beaded trim, which come on a strip of ribbon. This came off a cushion cover. It's a gold trim. We're probably all familiar with that. I used a little bit of burlap just there. You'll see that lovely blue coming through. The deep purple, most of you might recognize the fabric. It's one of those really stretchy tops that you can buy. And this was of a dress. I've had some blue little crochet flower I put under there. Then I had a Lectin necklace because I've been looking for one that had like coins, and because I didn't have anything like this, and I come across it and I thought, oh yes please. And it also another one that has the leaves, so I've just attached them on there, and I've actually stitched the chain on. And while I was stitching it on from the top here down to the bottom, I decided to do a bit of hand stitching just to make it look a bit grungy, I suppose. I don't know, but yeah, because I didn't want the I didn't want it to look really fine. I just wanted to leave it all sort of you know, frayed. I was going to put book corners on it, but I didn't feel that it was necessary because this is like I said, it's made from thin chipboard. And of course on the back it's just the scarf that continues on. So let's get into it. And this measures, let me see, what did it measure? It measures 7 inches wide, and which is about 18 centimeters, and tall is 9 inches, and I think it's about 24 centimeters. It has 6 signatures, and each signature has 7 pages. Don't ask me why I've put 7 in there, it's just how it worked out. So, plus it has a lot of flip ups, flip downs, tucks, yes, tags, little notebooks. So, you know, you've got total of 42 pages, and then you just times 4, do your math. I think it's 168 sides or something like that. Plenty of journaling space in this because I've made it to actually use to journal in. So let's go and explore. I've used some tabs, the beginning for each signature, and each tag then has the larger coins, because this necklace that I used for the front had the small coins, and then each tag I've just attached it with a bowl pin with a large coin, and I've actually stapled these on instead of sewing. All right, let's go inside and explore. I know you're all quite anxious to see what this looks like. Just love how this all turned out now. It sort of tells a story, doesn't it? All right, let's get in here. So in here you'll see the patchwork that I made, that I was going to make the cover on the outside and then put my topper on top of that, but it just looked too busy, and I thought, well, right, let's reverse it. I'll attach it to the inside. So as you can see, it's all hand stitched. I hand stitched it with, not hand stitched, machine stitched with zigzag stitch. And I was gifted this little organza bag with the moon and stars, which I used at the front. And so I used the top part because it had, you know, the edges already sewn, made into a pocket. Here I've used a book page that I decoupaged with a napkin and popped in this lovely flower just there, and that just tucks in quite nicely just in there. So the journal, the signatures are bound. I love using this technique for hardcover journals, and I use some really, really pretty trim just here, all the gold. And I've also put it down onto here. This is just a little dangle. It says made with love. And of course it has the gypsy horses throughout. My painted papers I've used all up. You can see them just here. Did a bit of stamping, red stamping, but I mainly used a lot of the pictures on each signature. I made a tuck spot representing Gypsy Rose and the horse. And she is there. And then, of course, the little tab just here with the coin. This one, and also each first page of each signature is not hand sewn, it's machine stitched, and that's done with embroidery floss, just so that you can really see the stitching of it. That's there. And these are actually 2 pages together. So it's not 1 page, it's 2 pages. And it feels really, really nice and sturdy. So I've put 2 painted pages together, or 1 painted paper and then just a coffee dyed paper on the other side. So as you can see, I've used various papers. This is one of my experimental paints, and I used a plastic doily and then just coloured it in. Used a bit of bling to highlight that you can, flip this open, and that's the other side of it. It's a graph piece of paper. Used all my coffee dyed papers, of course, and some doilies. Now this is just a journal where you can really journal in, get really carried away. Here I've made a tuck spot. This is handmade paper from my friend, and some more snippets of the dresses and some more of the motifs, little flowers. And I found this, I just want to explore. I thought how appropriate was that, and I backed it on some nice paper, and that just tucks in here. This here was a bit of an experiment. I used a bit of spray on this scarf that I got hold of and had these fine dangles on it, and I thought I'll just lay the scarf on top because I wanted to colour the scarf. And I'll just go and see if I can find it. So this is the scarf that I used, okay? And you see all the fine dangles? Well, that's what this is here. So I thought I might as well use it. I've done some edging on some of the pages just for a bit of interest, and this is from my gardening magazine with all the pink flowers. There's a tuck spot here, and I've stitched these on. And there's the other side, and it actually came through the paper, so that was pretty cool. This was, when I coffee dyed, this was done on a rack, for a cookie rack that has all the squares on it, and that's how it come out. And on the other side is the lines. This beautiful paper was gifted to me by Karen, and Karen Monroe, thank you. Last year, I do believe. And I just love it with the keys and the bird cage. I think it came from her Alice in Wonderland kit. And I also stitched around this with the embroidery stitch on the machine. Now this one I've made a little bit different. I put 4 flips on each corner of it's a green. And this is the tissue box, the bottom of a tissue box. I think I showed this in the last video. Beautiful, beautiful birds. And of course, a real feather. Found this when we were exploring before we got into isolation here. And it's absolutely gorgeous, this peacock. Here you might have remembered I've done these discs, and I've used this one because it had this little blue on it. And I thought I might as well pop that paper on there. It's not a flip, I actually glued it. And then you can see the heart on there that I've cut out. Did a little bit of stamping. To live a creative life, we must lose our fear of being wrong. So true, so true. Here I've made a pocket, and this is where the stamp is on. The plastic that stamp is attached when you buy it, and I took it off and store it somewhere else, and I used that as a pocket. It's quite cool. Made a little tag just here. Now a lot of these photos that I got from Pinterest, and I printed them out late last year, I think, and because I knew I was going to make a journal, but had to have the horses, the Gypsy horses. There's another one, and I've actually attached this to the napkin just for a bit of stability there, and just put a little bit of bling on there. Now this is the other side of my painty papers, and these are my painty papers too. So I've got to make another lot because I'm just about finished. This is the end of the signature. Our first signature, and this is the second one. As you can see, I've used with each signature, the first page is my painty papers, and I machine stitched round with my embroidery floss. Here's another pocket. This is coffee dyed paper, and I sprayed some pink, not food dye, fabric dye on it, and it came out sort of like a real pinky, little bit of pink in there. I'm not sure if you can see that. Here I've had some lovely braid and like a trim, and I think it was about 1 metre long, and I didn't want to keep cutting it off, so I actually wrapped it around the A4 page to give me various pockets. So I've got a pocket, not a pocket, a tuck spot. So I've got a tuck spot on this corner, here, some of my papers, some coffee dyed. This is napkin. Here's another beautiful peacock. I did a bit of collage with corrugated cardboard, a piece of curtain onto an invoice on the and put it on front of an invoice so that you get to see the lines, and then I photocopied it, and that's how it came out. Just like the effect of that. Here's a tuck spot, another card, Gypsy wagon wheel. This is another paper from Karen. Thank you, Karen. Here I made a crossover belly band, and you can just, you know, put pages in that, add more pages if you wanted to, and they're stitched on. Another tuck spot, and of course my tag that I showed you a while ago, where I used a calendar and collaged all the different colours of the calendar and put the number 26 on there, and I just embellished it with some more of those lovely embroidered flowers that I've got. A bit more stamping. This is also one of the papers that I actually put together and then photocopied, and it come out this colour. It's absolutely super. And I love how that butterfly turned out. I fussy cut it, or I tore it off a napkin, placed it on the page, and I had some other blue fabric. I can't remember how I did it, but it came out really good when I photocopied it. Here I've just used a bit of beaded fabric just there, just to pick up the blue on the other side. Another tuck spot, another horse, and I've just backed it some book page. Believe it or not, this is a tie. It was a men's tie. I saw it. It's a satin one. I thought I could use that. Here's a continuation. The end of the second signature and the beginning of the next one. I'll just put this over here so you can see it better. Now this one here, oh, well, there you go. Oh, no, it's all right. Oh, well, there you go. I'll have to fix that one up. I probably glued that on too early. Okay, I can fix that pretty easy. So this is a little tuck spot. Got a little pocket on the back here. Just there. And then I've made a little tag just there as well. And that's just to strengthen the paper doily. Beautiful print of the Gypsy girl there, and used to some of those flowers, sequin flowers. This was a trim that I had, and I photocopied it on some paper, and that's how it turned out. Here I've made a little flip up. I've had this fabric for a while, so I ended up joining it in the middle, and this is of part of a dress. And of course I had some lovely soft yellow fringing, and that just comes up, and flip it up, and it's a little scrappy little notebook, so plenty of notes in there. Book page number 16, have no idea why that's there. Just felt like, well, it just looks really cool. And just some of my papers. Some more of my painty experimental papers. This is the center of a signature, and this I've actually made a pocket, or you can just make a little secret message and flick it up, but it's mainly just a pocket, and with a paper clip. And this is just a flip up. Here I've made a little notebook here, you would have seen in my last video, and just used some scrap papers, and got a little rocking horse die cut. Someone gifted my a family member sent it to me in an envelope, and I've got a few of those in various papers. Here I've done some spraying of this fringe just to pick up the purple. Paper doily, and it's the end of the signature, but I just love this effect. Have a look at the painted paper. It looks like a sky, doesn't it? And the gypsy wagon, and that's a tuck spot. Here I've done a napkin, decoupaged a napkin over a book page, and just finished it off with a pretty trim. This one here, I had some lace, and I've laid it over music paper and then photocopied it, and that's how it came out, and then I coffee dyed it. Here's some more of my experimental green papers with the plastic doily. Just some more stamping. It's out of a magazine. And that looks so really pretty. I didn't want to do anything to it. You can journal on the side here, or put some photos on there if you wish. I don't know if you can see the colours on this. Look at the colours on this. It's got the pink, the blues. Love it. And the same with this. It looks like a wave. Popped in a little embroidered flower there with a button. I think that was, oh yeah, that's right. Just some bit more stamping just on the corner there. A bit more decoupage. Here I've made a pocket, the journaling card, and of course the horse. The end of that signature. Here's the next signature. Talking to your best friend is sometimes all the therapy you need. So true, so true. Just love how that come out. Here's another photo, or I should say print out. This little pocket that I showed you, this one. And it just opens up to a little booklet. More painted papers. It's an envelope here. This is my card in it. There's another horse. This is from a magazine. And I popped a piece of fabric on there. Here's a journaling card here. This was gifted to me last year, I think it was. It's just an index card. Just tucks in here. So it's got a pocket here. Got to hurry up because this is going to go off in a minute. Love this. This is lovely. This is picture is backed onto a tea bag that was gifted to me. This is a journaling card, but I've attached it so you can actually flip it up and journal underneath. And just popped a paper clip there to hold it. Here I've used some paper here, and it was too long, so I just, you know, flipped it over and made a little tuck spot to put the little market ticket on there. Market Square Theatre. And that just goes in here, and you can journal on the back of that. Another tuck spot. This is one of the tags I made in my last video. What I used my mesh from, was a bag of lemons, and it's a yellow, and that's what I used to cover the tag with. Do you believe this is the Oh, this is the last signature. Another tuck spot. Here I experimented. I've got this stencil, the shape of a fan and flowers, and I just sprayed it. Come out really cool. Here I did a bit of collaging, photocopied, and come out my own little collage page to print out and popped on a bit of bling. Another peacock. And this one I decoupaged on a book page and photocopied that. I did all this quite a while ago. Some more of my painted papers. And here, because it had a bit of print on here, I actually just glued it half, so you can actually journal on here, open it up, and maybe put in a little secret message or something. Another one of my fabric swatches, or fabrics, A4 fabric pieces that I made from scraps. I actually photocopied it, and that's how it come out. It looks really, really cool. You can see all the little bits and pieces of fabrics in there. Here I decoupaged a napkin on a page and photocopied it. Little tea bag that was gifted to me, that's stamped. I can't remember, I'm sorry. It was one of the Aussie girls. Here I've had this really pretty lace, and yes, I photocopied it, and it had I had some book page, and I've laid it on top of that and then photocopied, so you can only just see the print coming through there. Get my stamping. Here I've got a map. We all need a map. And of course, this was a card that was gifted to me, and I tore it up and made it into a flip like that. And this is actually a tuck spot, and I've just greased it all up. Unbelievable. I'll have to fix that up. Little stamp. Here I've made a tuck spot. I've used a bit of coffee dyed and other sort of paper, and I stitched the image on there, and I just tuck it in here. And also then you've got a little hidden little tuck spot just in there. I've popped in a little tag and a little paper clip. And it's got this little envelope with a little guitar on it. And you can pop some details on that. And I'll just go on here. And that then also just secures that in its little spot. And on the back of that I've got another tuck spot. And this one has Citibank of New York, a check. There you go. Bit my stamping. Again, a serviette that I decoupaged on a book page, and I photocopied it, and I've made a pocket. Some more of my painted papers. This is nice, come out really nice. I really enjoyed making that. This one here has got a little envelope. It's got a $100 note in it, representing when you play a game of cards and you want to make a bet. There's your money. And this is the back of the cover. I've used a gold envelope, so you've got a tuck spot right at the back, like a journaling card. And then I've used this journaling card to pop in the back of that. And then in the front, because I folded it up, it's got another tuck spot. It has two little tags in here. And that's the end. That is the end of the crocodile mouth journal. As you can see, it's just yeah, filled with yumminess. And like I said, I'll be posting this on my Facebook page. So if you are interested in this, this is Australia postage only. It would just cost too much overseas unless you're prepared to pay for that money. But yeah, so I enjoyed making this one. Lots of fun, lots of colour. That's all about me. And it has my horses in it. So let me know of your thoughts. I enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed the Flip through with your cup of tea or your coffee or a glass of wine, wherever it may be. Until next time, you probably won't see me for about a week. You know what you got to do. Happy crafting. Bye for now.